Hello, the Pioneer viewers. We continue to bring you the details of Russia-Ukraine war. As you know, the war continues. The conflicts, which are about to complete their second year, have caused difficult days for both sides. The emergence of humanitarian crisis in times of war is normal situation. When weapons come into play, painful events can occur for humanity. The important thing is that these painful events are unintentional. It is dangerous to consciously intervene against the human rights and take action that are not in accordance with the law. Violations were reported many times in the Russian-Ukrainian war, which took place in front of the eyes of the whole world. Russia's violations of human rights don't only involve the Ukrainian people. Russia also treats its own soldiers inappropriately. Ukrainian military intelligence is closely monitoring this issue. As Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine is approaching its second year, Ukrainian attacks have increased dramatically in recent days. In many ways, the Ukrainian offensives, which are wearing down Russian troops, give Kiev room to maneuver. Ukrainian military intelligence, on the other hand, continues its work after the scandalous news it has uncovered in recent days. The news caused a great surprise both in Russia and in the world. A large segment of the Russian public reacted against Moscow for the news that emerged. Recently, the opposition has been getting stronger in Russia. The Kremlin, which continues to attract the reactions of certain segments of society, has difficulty in controlling the situation. The unthinkable methods used by the Russian army against its own soldiers are in many ways causing the Russian people to question the war. In addition, the recent Ukrainian attacks, especially on the Russian oil facilities, have caused another crisis for Russia. Now, if you're ready, let's analyze the latest developments together. As the Pioneer, we continue to report on Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Pioneer channel. Let's start if you're ready. The Pioneer reports. The news uncovered by the Ukrainian intelligence in recent days has revealed a major scandal. The phone records recently obtained by Ukrainian military intelligence revealed Russia's mind-boggling move. No statement was made by any Russian official after the records emerged. In the published phone record, it was revealed that the Russian military leadership placed Russian soldiers as decoys on the front lines of Ukraine. Russian commanders deliberately sent their own soldiers to the front lines of the war in Ukraine as a bait. The Russian leadership's disregard for the lives of the soldiers drew great reaction. Ukrainian military intelligence has published phone records of Russian commanders many times since the beginning of the war. The Ukrainian intelligence, which infiltrates the communication networks of the Russian troops among themselves, obtained important information in this way. In the latest phone record published by the Ukrainian military intelligence, it was stated that the Russian soldier speaking on the phone was a member of 5th Motorized Rifle Brigade. In his phone conversation, the Russian soldier stated that the soldiers in his units were subjected to psychological violence. He said that the sick soldiers were ordered to sacrifice themselves by fighting on the front line. Stating that the Russian commanders often wear out the soldiers psychologically, the soldiers said that as a result of the pressures, they have become a person who wants to go to the front line and get rid of themselves as soon as possible. Very important information was obtained from the Russian soldiers' phone call. It was stated that the majority of the soldiers sent to the front from the Rostov region of Russia were sick. The logistics and coordination of the Russian army seems to be very poor. For this reason, diseases are spreading very quickly among the soldiers. The facilities of the Russian army are also not sufficient to treat and cure the soldiers. In fact, the Russian administration prefers to use sick soldiers as fodder on the front lines rather than treating them. The attitude of the Russian army towards its own soldiers surprises everyone. The events that attracted the reaction of many people in the posts made on social media were especially upsetting for the families of soldiers in Russia. The families of soldiers organized in Russia have started to put pressure on the government and are protesting in various parts of the country. For this reason, the Kremlin administration seems to be at a loss as what to want to do. Military experts says it is difficult for Moscow to continue the war with the same approach. With such a disrespectful use of military units and deliberately sending its own soldiers to their death, the Russian leadership is facing difficult times ahead. Any tension within the Russian army could cause big problems for Russia. The Russian army is not made up for professional soldiers, but of people gathered from many places. There are forced conscripts from different regions of Russia in the Russian army. There are also notorious criminals sent from the prisons to the front lines to fight on behalf of the Russian army. As such, it is impossible to maintain order within the army. The Ukrainian army's disciplined behavior is the most important reason for its successes in the attacks. In addition, the lack of discipline and reluctance in the Russian army strengthen the Ukrainian army's beliefs in victory. The Ukrainian army, consisting of soldiers who want to save their country, has a serious motivation. The Ukrainian army continues its attacks without slowing down. In recent days, Ukrainian attacks, which have been concentrated on strategic Russian targets, provide important gains for Kiev. According to the information obtained from Russian sources, the Ukrainian army's drone attacks are causing serious damage to Russia's oil refineries. The balance sheet resulting from the Ukrainian attacks shows that the Russian oil production has decreased 5%. The Ukrainian army's attacks aimed at destroying Russia's resources are appreciated by military experts, revealing the multidimensionality of the war. The Ukrainian army is leaving the Russian army in a helpless situation. Last month, Ukrainian drone strike hit oil depots and refineries in several Russian regions, including Berdyansk, Leningrad, and Oryol. Russian officials claim that Ukraine targeted the country's energy infrastructure with the drone strike. Kiev authorities have not yet commented on this issue. The Ukrainian army has been pursuing certain strategies since the first days of the war. Attacks on the Russian army's resources and logistics have been very useful for the Ukrainian army. In particular, Ukrainian operations in Crimea led to the withdrawal of the Russian Navy from the region. For this reason, the top commanders of the Ukrainian army formulating and implementing new plans. We will see what will happen in the new targets of the Ukrainian army in the coming days. What do you think about the scandalous news uncovered by the Ukrainian intelligence? How do you think the Russian army's approach to its own soldiers can be evaluated? How do you evaluate the work of the Ukrainian military intelligence? What do you think about the strategic offensive of the Ukrainian army? What do you think about the consequences of the attacks on the Russian oil refineries could be? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.